Your play is part of the new DNA project this year. Tell people what DNA projects are like for a writer.
We get space and time to work on our piece and to, you know, throw stuff against the wall and see what sticks, which is really helpful with comedy. You know, for me specifically, it's a chance to keep making sure proportions are correct and make sure the bits and jokes work and making sure I'm funny and that everything is landing the way it's supposed to and that I'm telling the story I want to tell. You know, it's a chance to refine, make your work better.
And your play is Three Farids, and tell us what that's about.
The elevator pitch is it's a play about three guys named Farid auditioning for the role of Farid. It sort of starts there and then devolves into greater and greater absurdity, and it's something that I wrote just to kind of deal with the strangeness of being in Hollywood and being an actor and being brown and sort of all the challenges that brings up. I don't know, I guess my way to deal with problems in my life is to laugh at them. That's always been my sort of defense mechanism, if you want to call it that. Yeah.
The particular role they're trying out for is a terrorist, correct?
Yeah.
So what kind of things did you want to explore through comedy in these actors trying to audition for this role?
I mean, I started writing it in an audition room because I was going to all these auditions, not all of them for terrorists, but a lot of them for terrorists, and going in and just bombing, just like being terrible. And I think it was because I was taking it so seriously and like, you know, putting everything up on this pedestal. And then just one day I just started laughing at it all and like seeing how ridiculous it all is and I started writing it on my phone while I was waiting to go into an audition, and everyone in the room must have thought I was a crazy person because I was sitting there just like laughing my ass off, cracking jokes about all the people around me and like what are we all doing here? We could all be cousins, you know, and I just kept going, and my rule was just like, as long as it keeps making me laugh, I got to keep writing it to the end. And it did. It just kept making me chuckle and like, and it became my way to sort of deal with the weird machine of Hollywood. And it's not something, I'm not trying to be like incendiary. I'm just trying to like hold the mirror up to the thing and say like, you guys, this is a little silly. It's okay for us to like laugh at how silly this is, at what we're doing. And it's a way to talk about it, but also like I'm not trying to like put anyone's feet to the fire. I've dealt with a lot of different things in my life like anyone else has, and I've gone through times of you know, leaning on more self-destructive ways to handle problems in my life, and eventually came around to realizing that like what really is the most effective and the most powerful is humor.
And do you think humor is a good tool for getting other people to kind of see your point of view as opposed to something that might be more serious?
Yeah. I mean, I think they're both valid, but I think comedy is super effective because it just makes the power of the thing that we're doing that much greater, because theater is powerful in and of itself. Performance is powerful in and of itself because you get a group of people together in a room and they're all experiencing the same thing. And they could have different political views or different financial backgrounds or different racial backgrounds, whatever you want to call it. But this is all of a sudden one thing that they all have in common. And they can all kind of like, if they can all sit in a room and experience something together, it'll at least hopefully be a little bit easier for them to look at each other as equals, whereas maybe before they didn't.
All right, well, I want to thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for coming to my library, by the way. I've read all of these books. I liked most of them, except this one. It's terrible. Terrible book.